Wait. Before we start, just want to make sure we're clear here. While this podcast talks about sobriety, mental health, and addiction, it is not meant to replace professional medical advice. Welcome to Sisters in Sobriety.
I'm Kathleen.
And I'm Sonia.
And we're ex-sisters-in-law, brought together in marriage and bonded through our sobriety journey.
Join us as we talk sobriety, addiction, and everything in between. You're in for quite a ride. And our Substack is buzzing with amazing content, from creative mocktail recipes to insightful courses and reflective exercises. There is something for everyone. Don't miss out. It's a great way to add some extra joy and depth to your journey. Check it out. Welcome to Sisters in Sobriety. September is Suicide Prevention Month, and I wanted to share a story about my own struggles, and in my case, how a combination of prescribed medication and quitting drinking made all of the difference. I don't know if I would be alive today without those things, so here's my story. It's funny how from the outside, everything can look picture perfect. I had it all, or so it seemed. I had a great marriage to an incredibly smart, handsome, faithful man that I felt lucky to have, to absurdly adorable dogs, and a house that screamed, "You've made it," and was renovated within an inch of its life exactly how I wanted. And my career was even better. It was more successful than anything my wildest dreams could have come up with. I had a business that wasn't just thriving, it was exploding. It was so busy, I couldn't keep up with it. I was hiring people almost daily to handle the volume, and I considered this to be a huge success, and I was so grateful for it. Who is going to complain about having too much business? And yet, despite all of this, or maybe in some ways because of it, I just didn't want to wake up the next day. So let's rewind. My drinking was at an all-time high, and so was my stress. I thought I was just one of those high-functioning overachievers who deserved that glass of wine, maybe bottle of wine at the end of the day. And I thought, I am the boss, I work hard, I play hard. But honestly, it was like clocking out of one shift only to clock into my drinking shift. And it was the only way I knew how to unwind and make that transition between work and home. But somewhere between the first glass and the last glass, my head would start spinning. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, my heart pounding, my breath shallow, and convinced that I was seconds away from some sort of catastrophe. It was a panic attack, and sometimes it would be some far-fetched scenario that I would be turning over obsessively in my mind, and sometimes it would just be this generalized feeling of dread. Either way, I could never fall back asleep, so naturally I'd get my laptop and start working at 3 a.m. because that's what normal, well-adjusted people do, right? They work through their terror. And looking back, this habit didn't come out of nowhere. When I told my now ex-husband about my persistent anxiety, he said, "I think you just need to work more. You're overwhelmed by all you have to do, so just do it." Luckily, I only had to put up with this shitty advice for the 18 years we were together. So let's just say it took a lot for me to unlearn that and to learn instead to be kind and compassionate towards myself. Anyway, physically, I felt like garbage. I had chronic hangovers as my default setting. They were always there to some extent, and the only time I felt normal was somewhere between my first and second drink. And emotionally, I was the definition of a hot mess. I was depressed with a side of, I don't want to be here anymore, and panic attacks were just the cherry on top of this existential crisis Sunday. I lived like this for 8 months, 8 long months, until finally I sought help. I got on medication for the suicidal ideation and depression, and things started to shift. I wasn't, doing cartwheels through the park or anything, but I was at least getting through the day, and the panic attacks had subsided. I was sleeping better, but my body still felt like it had been hit by a truck repeatedly from the drinking. And with a clearer mind, I knew I had a problem. But I stumbled along like that for about 2 years because alcohol is addictive. And just knowing you have a problem doesn't mean you will or you can do anything about it. So after months of bargaining, excuses, attempts to moderate, and finally planning, I quit drinking. And wow, it was like someone finally opened the curtains and let the sun in. Sure, I knew alcohol was a depressant and that I was taking a prescribed antidepressant. I wasn't completely ignorant, but I had no idea just how much it was sabotaging my mood, my body, and my entire existence. And the early days of sobriety were rough, for sure. I mean, I had anxiety, and not the cute kind that makes you like double check if you left the stove on or the iron plugged in. No, this was the like, I'm going to sob in my car because I can't use alcohol as a sledgehammer to knock myself out anymore type of anxiety. But I learned that alcohol cravings don't last forever. It turns out they rarely last more than 20 minutes. And after those 20 weepy white knuckle minutes, I would pick myself up, find a friend to call, go for a walk, snuggle up with dogs, or sometimes just get some ice cream and turn on Netflix. And so that dopamine hit I was seeking from alcohol, I started getting it from life again. So small, gentle doses that actually built me up instead of tearing me apart. Over time, my depression and anxiety improved. I'm not saying I don't have bad days, I do. But now it's like I'm living in color instead of black and white. The difference is enormous. And for the first time in a long time, I'm really glad I woke up today. This was Sisters in Sobriety.
Thank you for listening and being with us today.
If you want to learn more about sobriety and meet your community, find us at sistersinsobriety.substack.com.
Are you a sister in sobriety? Then reach out on social media. We'd love to hear from you.
If you're feeling generous, leave us 5 stars and a review and follow us wherever you listen.
You'll never miss an episode. Until next time.